It took 159 years to pass the first law to protect coal miners' health and safety. 159 years to protect us from black blood. Don't leave here today with the thought in your mind that you're not the most patriotic people on earth. Every time that this country needs us, you've been there. It's about damn time the country starts standing up for us. So sit down and I'll finish. I just want to add on to a couple of things that's been missed here today, and I've got my friend from the works from Steelworker, who's a great historian, and I don't want to make a mistake because she'll tell me about it here in a minute. But I want you to, the 2012 is an important, 1912 is an important year here. That's 2 years before what happened here. And that happened mostly in my state of West Virginia. But from I think it was 1898 until 2012, how many coal miners do you think were killed in the coal mines in 14 years leading up to what happened here at Ludlow? 43,000 coal miners were killed in this nation's mines in 14 years. There's one historian that said they were probably as well off out here striking and getting shot at and freezing to death, maybe even safer to been in those coal mines in this country. This country let the coal miners in this country down before there was ever one strike day in this state or anywhere else. They turned their backs on us. I'm going to tell you what else was going on here. 40-some thousand people dying in 14 years is absolutely absurd, and you're not even talking about people choking to death and dying the most horrible death that has ever been known. The man that's dying from black blood, because it wasn't until 1969 that people said there was such a thing as pneumoconiosis or black blood. Miners 40 years old dropping dead out here choking to death from trying to breathe. That's like having a pillow over your face and somebody smother you. So 43,000 people died, and you don't even count the ones that were choking to death and dying very young. We were dying everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something. It's just like what happened in West Virginia with the teachers. How can people strike without collective bargaining? How can people strike in a Republican-controlled state? How can they strike and turn this whole country around? Will you push people who have nothing else to lose? They will do anything to fight back, and that's what happened right here. In 2012, the miners on Paint Creek struck in West Virginia, and then a little month or two later, the miners on Cabin Creek walked out. The Paint Creek miners had a union. The Cabin Creek miners didn't. And they stood up and fought back. But you know they were getting paid with money, not from the United States. They didn't get paid in currency. The coal companies just decided they'd make their own money. Isn't that a novel thought? And nobody in our country challenged that. You had to go to the company store. You had to live in a company house. You had to buy all your things to work with from them. And they paid you by the ton and lied about it and then paid you with their money. Mm-hmm. You couldn't spend that money anywhere but one place. That's the company store. On payday, miners on Paint Creek, Cabin Creek here in Ludlow got this. When you are working and you don't get paid, Sarah alluded to that, what the government shut down, but this was something that happened every day. You got killed in the mine. You had to deal at their store, you had to live in their house, and no disrespect, but the school teachers worked for the coal companies. The priests worked for the coal companies. Everybody worked for the coal companies. And if you went to a doctor, you may not be sick, but you might drop dead that night. Because the company doctor says nothing wrong with you. That's nothing but slavery. Child labor was running rampant. 7-year-old kids working, picking slates, opening trapdoors underground where people were getting killed left and right. Nobody cared about those kids because they were children of immigrants. 24 languages means what? 24 different nationalities. And they used to turn us on each other. But I want to take you back to 1890 for 1 minute. All of these nationalities made it to Columbus, Ohio. They couldn't even talk to one another because of the language barrier. But they wrote a constitution like nobody else's constitution in those days. You cannot discriminate because of race, creed, national origin, or any other means. You cannot discriminate against your brothers and your sisters. And after writing that Constitution, what did they do? They decided to have a debate and a conversation about the black workers in this country. And nobody anywhere was talking about that. And people say coal miners are living in the past. Coal miners aren't well educated. We have been the best educated, the most knowledgeable, and we take the action from 1890 to today. When we see a wrong, we fix it. We see a brother in pain and hurting, whether they're in our union or somebody else's union, we stand up for them. I want to tell you, when they struck on Paint Creek and Cabin Creek, it wasn't going well. And you've heard me use this quote before. And it was from Mother Jones when she gathered 6,000 people up at the mouth of the holler, and she told them, striking miners, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You're a bunch of cowards, you're a bunch of wimps. Let the women run the strikes, what you ought to do. Trying to shame them. But then Mother Jones said, if you want to win this strike, what should you do? Who knows what she said by a show of hands? I'll tell you what she said. Go home and arm yourselves. Go up Paint Creek and Cabin Creek, and you kill every one of them son of a bitches. And you burn their temples, and you'll win this strike. So a strike turned into a war. Jones was arrested. Martial law was declared. People went straight to prison, not jail. Didn't have a court appearance. Had it right out there in the open. Mike Dalpez come forward. Is that the guy you saw on the big line? That's it. 5 years in the penitentiary. That's how it went. Mother Jones was locked up in Pratt, West Virginia, and almost died of pneumonia. A lot of people don't know that. We had a changing governorship, and she got out. Well, we didn't win that strike, but we sure didn't lose it. People are always debating. Historians are always arguing with me. And I know that I'm not a historian. I just know tactics. They tell me, well, you didn't win Paint Creek and Cabin Creek. Oh, yes, we did. When you stand up and fight back, that's moving in the right direction. That's moving in the right direction.
Right.
You know where she went when she got out of the hospital? After having pneumonia, straight to here. Guess who came with her? The Baldwin-Fells Thug came right here out of Bluefield, West Virginia. And she led that strike. She made speech after speech. She marched just like she did at Paint Creek and Cabin Creek. So women, stand up for a minute. We'd like to say thank you for all the contributions